Hello, before you start watching this video, I just want to point out that when I made this video, when I filmed it, there was some corruption with the video file due to a lack of storage in my hard drive. So, just a pointer. But I think it turned out pretty good. I edited it and tried to sync the picture with the speech, with the sound. And it turned out pretty well, but not on all parts. You will notice sometimes it's syncing and sometimes not. But this video have a lot of videos of hiking and other stuff, so related to the topic. So I think it doesn't disturb anything actually. I just want to point it out. And yeah, I'm sure you will enjoy it. And here it is. Hello and welcome back to the Metanoia Path YouTube channel with me, Mattias Lidborn. In this video, I want to talk to you about coming out to nature, coming out on an adventure. Because you see many people that is yearning for this exploration of nature and coming out and sleeping outside in forests, maybe in the mountains. And for most people, it just ends with a fantasy or with a glimpse of a thought that may be something that he or she would like to do. But what you could see in 2020 was that people were almost pushed to get out in the rural areas, in nature and so forth, because of the restrictions and that many of the places that people go to enjoy themselves and have some mindless entertainment and so forth were closed, or there was, as I said, some kind of restriction. So people tended to go outside, which was very good. Go outside and enjoy the company of their family, friends. And after the so-called pandemic, some people had a newfound hobby. And not just a hobby, but something that met their yearning for this exploration of nature and the sense of awe that nature brings. So many people actually started to hike that didn't hike before and just, get out, maybe fish outside, walking in nature and all these different things that you do in nature. And had a newfound, not epiphany, but a newfound insight that simplicity is something that really soothes the soul and the whole body and so forth. And some, of course, when the restrictions were lifted, they were getting back to their normal activities and, they going outside and party and joining sports events and all these kinds of things. But some stuck to it, of course. So there was this rejuvenation of this new activity that met the yearning for something deeper, something that take the person back to a more simpler state, the state that we are meant to be in as humans. Because we are not made to be in this extremely artificial environment that we have become so used to. With all the comforts, all the entertainment that is extremely detrimental, have no meaning. It's just, most of the entertainment is just garbage. But people have this extreme yearning for adventure, especially males. And what most people do, they head in the direction of comfort, as most people do in the urban environment. They head to comfort, they see adventure through another person. This could be through a movie, games, and something like that. Maybe read a book, a fantasy book, or something of that nature, and they don't get fulfilled by this yearning. Instead, they need to do this again and again and again to fill this empty void in themselves. But the adventure is there. It's outside. And it's accessible to everyone. And isn't it ungrateful to the creator of this world that we don't get out in the beauty that is nature and live as we are supposed to do as humans, just for a couple of weeks or maybe a day in the week or something like that, and be in the element that we are made to be in. Instead of living like we should as humans, we instead go to comfort. We create comfort in every space that we encounter. And what that do is it makes us sick, it makes us weak, it makes us longing for something greater, an adventure that is outside, that exists and is accessible for every human being that have two legs and is not too sick. And and I would say that all this entertainment that people immerse themselves in is a call for adventure in themselves, but they are so used to comfort that they, instead of getting out and do the work, they just watch it or play it in a stupid video games or something like that. And that is really, just to take the video game aspect, that is something that is really embarrassing for the males that engage in that. There is no meaning in a video game that you can't get outside in nature and hard work, or just be in the elements and challenge yourself. It's a distraction tool, just as movies, but games is much worse because it's addictive on a whole another level, and it's making people weak. And it's, as I said, very embarrassing, especially for older men that sit and play. You don't gain anything. It's just mindless entertainment, and it makes you fat, it makes you lazy, makes you ugly. It's ridiculous. If you have two legs, go out in forest and walk an hour. Or if you want to do something more of a real adventure, why don't you, instead of spending all this mindless time on your video game or your movies, your Netflix and all this crap, then go and learn something. Go and learn how you plan to survive a week by yourself in the forest or in the mountains and so forth. It must not be something really extreme. Just 2 days maybe. 2 days in the beginning, you go outside, you buy a tent or a sleeping pad and a sleeping bag or a sleeping bag and so forth. Maybe you don't even do it in a cold weather. Maybe you do it that's in summer. Then you don't need that much equipment. You go and learn, and when you have learned how much you need for your particular hike, then you go out and try it, especially for men. And when I talk about this, I primarily talk about men in this situation, because I don't think that females should go outside by themselves in some nature area that's quite close to urban environment. That is very dangerous, and maybe in a more wilderness context if it's a very experienced girl. But as I said, I'm talking primarily to men here, because if you think that your video game is something adventurous, then you never have experienced a real adventure outside in nature. And it brings us so much. Just to be in forest makes your mental health better. There is very much study on this, and the evidence is clear. You don't need that much. 30 minutes a day in the forest make your mental health much better. Because when you come outside in nature, you really feel alive. As I've said many times before in the podcast and in other videos, is that the feeling you get when you go outside in a really wild environment, especially by yourself, it's not that you flee reality when you do it. Because you could say that you do this because of your lack of progression in the urban environment and in the modern society, and then you go out and hike to flee from reality. But that's really not the case. The case is that when you come outside in nature, you feel that you come into reality. And this feeling will only grow day by day the more you are outside. every small thing that you don't notice when you are in your modern life and your modern society, in the modern flow of life, is these really meaningful, simple things in life. Getting water, pack your home, bodily exercise that will take you from A to B, that without a car or a bike or something like that, you're completely reliant on yourself. You need to find a good spot to sleep. You need to look at the environment. How is the weather? Is it raining? Is it going to be a storm? Where is the safest place for me to sleep today? And what does it look like on the clouds? Will it get worse? Everything that is it to be human, created to be engaging in the elements of the weather and nature. And as I said, it's like you're coming into reality. And the more you are outside, the more days and weeks and months you're outside, the more you realize this. And what happens is that more and more you get conscious of how invaluable many things in our modern flow of modern life is. It's complete nonsense, many of the things. And you also see many things in yourself that is a symptom of the modern society that you attach to yourself to. Like things maybe that you're attached to, you want a group of people or some kind of people or someone, or that you wish to perceive you as a person that is of some magnitude. You have your insecurities about things that is extremely silly because of this artificial modern society that pressures you to be in some kind of a way to fit in this really detrimental urban modern artificial society with all these crap distractions. And it's just not games, not just movies. It's of course the cell phone, the mobile, the Android phones we have in our pockets is destroying the youth, I would say, as well. Extremely dangerous for kids, and should be prohibited by the parents to engage with in an early age. It's only supposed to be there for what you need it to do for you, that make you get forward in life. Like you have maybe your job contacts or something like that, or for me it's for making this YouTube content and podcast and so forth. But mindless scrolling, doom scrolling as it's called, is it's a real plague of our society of this age. But on a positive note, we saw, as I said, in 2020 there was many people that got their eyes open to this new hobby and activity, and it filled a spiritual void, actually, I would say. Even if a certain person that maybe find this novelty in hiking and being outside of nature as a spiritual calling or a spiritual fulfillment in some way, I would say that is what it is most of the time. It's because nature is one of these very few things that brings awe to us people. We are in this sense that we almost can't explain it more than wow, more than And when you're in nature, there is no such thing as boring. It's not boring to be bored, because you can't be bored when you're in your right place. When you're outside hiking, there is always something to do. Find some wood, make a fire, build your tent, looking at the map where I'm going to the next day and where am I. Maybe you are lost and you have to navigate yourself back to a point where you are familiar with, so you can go to the next area you're planning. Maybe you're cold and you need to get warm, and you maybe are wet, and there's many different of these natural things that happens when you're outside. But even if there is calm weather, everything is in control, there is this gap, just to be and just to sit beneath a tree or on a stone or on a high altitude and look out. You can do that for hours, and it's a calmness that you can't describe. You're alert, but you're calm. You're just so content. You don't need anything else, and you don't think of the problem back home and so, because when you're from the perspective from nature, you're in the ultimate natural state, and you don't have the need for the things in the cold, strict architectural building form of living. It's in the urban environments there is no beauty. Only in the old towns of a city you can see beauty, but nowadays everything looks the same. Everything is just the same architecture that is horrific and really unhuman. It makes people feel like they're not humans, and I would say that's some of the intentions of it. Modern life, modern society, urban society, and the city life especially is lacking of beauty. And that is one of the most important thing for a human is beauty. We yearn for beauty. Beauty is intrinsic for human experience. So beauty is really one of those really intrinsically important things for human experience, human life and mental stability and so forth. The Platonic transcendentals, truth, beauty, and goodness, it's intrinsic for humans. And as Dostoevsky said, that beauty will save the world. I think it clings very true, and he was right on it when he said it. But anyway, I understand that it's very hard for a modern secular person to just go outside and sleep for many days and plan for it and so forth, because we are very stressed out, we have many things to do and all of that. But you can do it on a low scale, high scale, and there is many different adventures you can do in hikes, and everything depends on your resources, on your physical capacity and your route that you want to take when you go on your first hike or so forth. There is many aspects that you have to take into account when you starting it, of course. So it can be very hard to start if you don't know where to start. And actually, this is one thing I do in my coaching, is that I see intrinsic value in for people to reconnect with nature, because it's both psychologically, spiritually, and it develops self-reliance, it develops courage, and you get a healthy aversion to comfort. You starting to like when it's not that comfortable, and you realize that your body is capable of much, much more than you are when you're in a modern society with all the comfort that encompass. And because when you're outside, the more you are outside, the more your senses will start to work correctly again, and detox from all the artificial sprays, gases from cars, and every signal from the microwaves and artificial lights and so forth. And you're starting to notice quite clear after 2 weeks. Your breath is clearer, your taste is much better, your sense of smell is extremely elevated in comparison to when you are in a polluted society with all the gases and all of that. You're starting to hear better, and you're starting to hear animals on a distance, and you get more in tune with yourself and with nature, and that way you make better decisions as well, which is very good when you're outside in nature. If you don't bathe every day, you'll notice this very very fast, but even though if you bathe and so forth when you're outside, you will notice that as well, is that you're starting to grow this layer that will heat you, so you will not be prone to get cold that easy. And actually this layer will get off when you're bathing yourself and so forth, but I would say from experience that either way, even if you do it, it's you're getting used to the cold much better. And I will suggest that if you have the capacity or you're capable and doing a safe way, that you bathe cold and then try to go into the tent and heat yourself, or make a fire and heat yourself. That is a really good way also to feel alive and feel what it is to be a human. So every positive aspect of the human get elevated bodily, the corporal elevation of the senses and so forth. What I didn't mention is, of course, when you're hiking, you're active the whole days, you're walking, you're maybe running, you have a big bag, and you use a lot of energy, so everything is in line with that as well. God is the logos that is underlying everything in this world. You can see God as a conductor that conduct everything that is underlying reality. Is the logos, and a conductor conducts for every instrument on the scene. But even though it's different instruments, if every person that have an instrument follow this pattern that the conductor suggests, everything will culminate into a perfect harmony and will get aligned with the highest order. And this is same for us humans and everything in the world, that if we are aligned with the highest principle, that is God, then we will be at our right place and we will be in harmony on every level in our life. So being outside in nature is also this really direct way to see that you're in harmony, because everything in yourself and everything outside of yourself come in harmony, even if it's hard, even if it's required effort from you, because effort is a building stone for mental health. You need effort to feel good and develop. So anyway, this, as I said, is something I help people with in coaching, is that I help, and with my knowledge, with my experience, and with my capacity to harmonize different aspects of a particular person's likings or wishes to do a certain type of hiking, or something like going outside in maybe a forest for the first time. Maybe this person is not the best trained but pretty good shape, but maybe is afraid of the dark, and then we maybe take 2 or 3 days for this hike for this person. And then the question is, okay, what gear should I bring? And because it's a lot of things to think about when you're going outside, when it comes to sleeping bags, what backpack you should have, what shoes you should use, what route should I take. There is many pitfalls in this that can be very expensive if you go all out without knowing what you're buying and purchases. And this is where I come in, and I help people all the way as a guide through what you want to do. Initially, we make an analysis of the resources, the physical capacity of the person, and what kind of hike fits this person initially and so forth. And then we go and see where is the mental capacity of this person, what is too hard, what is too light, and what is the person wishing to accomplish. And it can be an easy thing like just go outside and fishing and making a fire in solitude. Maybe with a friend that maybe this is the first time they do this. But if you're going outside 1 or 2 weeks in a more unfamiliar area, a more rural area, a more wild area, maybe up in the north in Sweden, as I try to do every year, and it's one of the best things I know in the whole world to do. It's a fascinating area, and that tends to need much planning, especially the first time you do it. And something that is very important when you're planning, especially if it's the first time you're going out hiking, is to take precaution and safety measures. To check what you have in your bag, if you have anything that will help you when it comes to a critical situation. So a first aid kit is something that you always should bring with you. And I always say that you shouldn't pack your backpack full of first aid and things that you might not know how to use. Only take the things that you know how to use. But yeah, that is up to you where your knowledge and competence and experience is, and that is very important. But anyway, so when I guide you to come out to your first hike, or maybe it's not your first hike, just that you want some help and you need to know more about gears and what you need, or maybe it's that you have heavy gear but you want to pivot to light gear or lighter gear, and that I have very much experience in. Because of some injuries I have for myself that will maybe get worse if I have too heavy a bag. But then again, I often I'm often outside for quite some time, so my bag always tends to get quite heavy. But if I didn't use some lighter materials, it would be a lot heavier. And I have tried really heavy equipment and gear and so forth. It also takes out much of the experience of being in nature, and it becomes quite unbalanced. And because you tend to struggle a lot, then you don't get invigorated by the natural environment, and you miss many moments that is of delight if you have too heavy of a bag. But it's up to you to have its charm. But I would say a balance is good. You don't need to take more with you than you need. So if you're planning, or if you're interested in to start go outside hiking and be more in nature and so forth, or want to make plans for a longer hike, maybe on your own, maybe in an area that you're not so familiar with, then contact me and we will have a consultation that is for free, of course. That first 30 minutes is always free when you're coming into a process with me, and there is no requirements for make a purchase. And if you don't want to make a coaching call with me, then you can start look at my upcoming videos of gear reviews and also hiking and hiking tips and so forth. I have some videos that I have done that I am filming when I'm outside hiking and in rural areas and wilderness and so forth, but not too many. I have so much material that just lays there to, it almost screams to me that I have to make some videos out of it. I have a Swedish channel that I have some more videos of me hiking and do some talks and so forth. But you can go and check it out. Mattias Lidborn, SWE. I will also make these videos, and I will make a translation into English in them. But more of hiking to come, and also I will start, as I said, to do reviews of different hiking gears, and do some videos that will give you some valuable information that you should have when you go outside and hike, and some tips and just general things that you might not know if you're not in that sphere of hiking and outdoor life and bushcrafting and so forth. So you had two choices as a modern secular person that never go outside in nature. That is, either you keep on living through scenes and distractions and live and see through another person's story, instead of creating your own story, your own adventure, and get to learn all these fundamental things that we humans should know and should have some knowledge and some sense of, that this is how it should be and this is how we are meant to be, and make you feel like you're alive for real. So either you keep on living unaware how it feels to be a real human and be in the element of nature. Or you try it out and you keep planning, or you start planning, and let me help you if that's too of a big undertaking to delve into all the gear and things like that. But I will tell you that you don't have to start big. Start very on a very low level, or the level that you feel really comfortable with doing without it being too scary or dangerous. And then you work yourself up. And different people have different initiatives to doing things, and I would say this is just doing this combines so many things and many aspects of reality and life that just start doing it and you will see what I mean. So yeah, don't hesitate to contact me, and keep on watching my videos so you'll get some more meaningful value to your hiking when I'm starting to publish some reviews and some tips and so forth. Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. That helped me out greatly. And you can also make a donation to me through Patreon, PayPal and so forth. All the information is in the description, or just head to my website. If you would like a coaching session with me, or purchase some training programs and diet plans, of course every program and diet plan is personalized. Just go into my website and you can make a booking there. So anyway, thank you very much for tuning in today, and I see you the next time.